Hello, and welcome to the Stoic World channel. Here we aim to explore the world of Stoicism, its ancient roots and key principles, its representation in modern culture, and the ways it could be used to improve your life. I'm Dave the Stoic, and this will be a journey that we go upon together. This video is called Stoicism 101, an introduction to the topic, its core concepts, and three of its most well-known philosophers. Stoicism dates back to ancient Greece, from around the 3rd century BC, and derives its name from the stoa, or painted porch, where people would gather to discuss their ideas. Stoicism is a philosophy that centres around four key principles: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These core concepts can be seen in the world around you today, in many religions, psychology and therapy, and even in popular culture. You might not know it at this point, but you yourself could be a Stoic, or at least share some of their ideas. To begin our story of Stoicism, I think it's best to start with the Big Three. Three philosophers who are widely regarded as the go-to starting points for anyone wanting to understand the Stoic mindset. These are Epictetus the slave, Seneca the senator, and Marcus Aurelius the emperor. Three men who led very different lives, and yet they were connected through a common philosophy. Epictetus, 55 AD to 135 AD. Epictetus' key message is to divide the world into two categories: that which is under your control and that which is not, then to take great care and consideration over what you do control, and to regard everything outside of it as none of your concern. He is adamant that it is not events or actions that harm you, but your own judgment of them that will cause you pain. Of the Big Three, it could be argued he lived the hardest life, which is reflected in his style of Stoicism being quite extreme, towards loss, death, and grief from his teachings in the Enchiridion. The Enchiridion itself is a series of philosophical principles compiled by Epictetus' student Arrian, and can be read like any of the works of the Big Three in a non-linear fashion. Perhaps the only exception to this being chapter 33, which seems to state the 16 rules for philosophical life in rapid succession. Seneca, 4 BC to 65 AD. A prolific writer, senator, and later in his life tutor to the Emperor Nero, Seneca's contribution to Stoicism comes from his writings, in particular his 124 letters to Lucilius. Reading his Letters from a Stoic has always brought great comfort to me, as though the letters were written to me personally, offering encouragement, advice, and caution where needed. Seneca's letters speak of balance, not going one way or the other in too extreme of a fashion. One of my favourite examples being from letter 18, on festivals and fasting. It shows much more courage to remain dry and sober when the mob is drunk and vomiting, but it shows greater self-control to refuse to withdraw oneself and do what the crowd does, but in a different way, thus neither making oneself conspicuous nor becoming one of the crowd, for one may keep holiday without extravagance. Marcus Aurelius, 121 AD to 180 AD. Adopted at the age of 17 by the Emperor of Rome, Marcus ruled the empire from 161 AD until his death. What we know of Marcus's philosophy comes from his personal writings, never intended to be published or read by anyone, and is in the form of a man writing to himself in order to encourage himself to do better. In his meditations, Marcus describes himself as a male, mature in years, a statesman, a Roman, a ruler. Humble words for the world's most powerful man. The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius is a very accessible and widely regarded piece of Stoic work. The content is often frank in nature, with no censorship necessary between Marcus and his intended audience, himself. The Meditations are perhaps the best entry point for the Stoic newcomer, filled with timeless advice still relevant today. One particular favourite passage of mine being, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." The work of each Stoic introduced here, the Enchiridion, Letters from a Stoic, and Meditations, can be found at all good bookstores, or using the links in the description below, and will be covered in more depth in future videos. I hope you've enjoyed this brief introduction to the world of Stoicism, and will join us here again on the Stoic World channel.